everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Don't Be Mad podcast. I'm your boy Matthew, aka Lefty Lucky, and I'm chilling here with one obvious face,
Hey, what's up, everyone? Jason here.
and then another person who is not Jamali.
Alan, DJ Nemesis from Montreal. How y'all doing?
Welcome back, bud. You
Been a
guys should know who he is. He's been on the show before. He's kicked it with us, shot the shit, had some great music talk, because that's what his life is all about. But this week it's a Thursday afternoon. Beautiful, warm weather, even though it's kind of gloomy and wet. But, I mean, we expect it's thawing out.
That's how it is, man.
Just say on this short week, how was your week? How's the mental health?
I'll let you go.
Yeah,
let the
my
guest
mental
go
health
first.
is a little rocky right now. It's been a crazy couple of weeks for me, so...
Hey, this is a safe space. You can share what you want to share. You can keep what you want to keep. This is all about support and enlightenment.
Yo, it's been a crazy week, but yo, life is good nonetheless. You know, you hit those bumpy roads, but, you know, got to keep it moving, you know what I mean?
Feel you on that, man. What about you, Jason?
I'm always good, man. I can't complain. Having fun.
Had a nice week. It was going pretty nice.
Yeah, man. I honestly can't complain. I'm just trying to survive in this world we call Montreal. That's what it is. But I'm good. I'm good.
That is good. As for myself, my week started off a bit weird because I twisted up my ankle on my front step.
Yeah, mice.
Literally. And the crazy part about it was, like, I was walking home, doing the whole, like, watch my every step and doing a great job of it, only to not watch my step on my very first step going up to my door. And I was really, like, the absolute irony in all of that.
That sounds like old man tendencies. You're looking to where you step. That's how you actually fall.
No, I think it was more of because I got to my safe space of I'm home, I just kind of got a bit lax.
I gave a damn.
You know, like my attention went down. I was just like, well, I'm here. And just missed
I feel
that,
you.
man.
I fell and busted my ass last night trying to go bring up the garbage. So
Well, shit happens, man. Especially now when it's like the snow's melting and the ice is wet. Like,
That's
it's
exactly
dangerous as shit.
You guys are getting old. That doesn't happen to me.
No. I'll be
Oh,
still
you
in the
don't
gym.
slip?
I'll be
Good
still.
for you,
I'm still young at heart.
I don't fall,
It's
man.
literally the first time I've slipped in like slipped in a way that I've hurt myself in like a good 3-4 years. It's nuts, man.
Oh, I didn't hurt myself, yo. I'm
No,
telling you, going to the
full
gym.
on, like,
Going to the gym helps you with that.
oh no, of course. And
Real
But
talk.
the thing, like, I'm going to the gym too. Like right now, my legs are sore as shit, which is why, like, every time I've been getting off the chair, I'm doing the old man twist and switch, you know, because the legs are sore.
You get some of that Tiger Bomb, you know what I mean?
I need a nice bath, some icy hot CBD oil. I want it all. But yeah, besides that, no, the week's been pretty good, man. I feel like it flew by, and not because like we're here on a Thursday,
Well,
but just in
consider that fact
general.
with the time change and everything, for sure.
Yeah.
That does help a lot, and get more daylight. And obviously, the days seem shorter because it's going a lot faster. But
Yeah,
you know, I just can't wait for summer. I can't deal with this
losing
snow no
that
more.
hour. It's like I love the fact that now it's like 7 o'clock and there's sun out, but at the same time, it really messed up my sleep, and you don't notice it till it happens. You know.
All I know is when I see the time clock change, that means it's closer
We're
to
close.
terrace season.
We're close.
It's terrace season's
Oh
coming
my
up,
God.
and that's all I'm waiting for.
Don't get me excited about the season, man. It's so soon, yet it's so far
That's
at the same
all I
time.
want right now is terrace.
I don't even think
season.
I'll be here for much of that time because I really need a good vacation. Get away from Montreal. I wanna go.
Did you just come back from vacation?
Hey, take as many.
That
as
was
you
last
can,
year, man. That was a whole year ago. Literally.
Wait, hold
was a
on. Was
year
it?
ago.
Wait.
So, like, where are you going and how long are you going for?
Wait,
That you're
wait,
not
hold
going to be here
on,
for
hold
till
on.
last season.
It hasn't been that long. It hasn't been a full year. He's been on vacation.
The last vacation I went to Dominican Republic was
Yeah,
April.
I would say it was about a
Was it a
year.
year?
Yeah, it was about
Yeah.
a year.
Okay, yo, the timing is fine then. It didn't seem that long, man.
But I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna do that for like what, a week, 10 days tops?
no, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like more or less go like even if it's like to Toronto and New York and like spend more of this a summertime there because it's cheap. It's not that expensive. It depends where you go. It's not really that expensive. And Montreal, yeah, of course you're gonna go out.
Dude, I just miss going up the street to the park, laying a blanket, play some music on a speaker, and relax under the sun, man.
I think that's what I'm lacking right now. Like I've been working
yeah.
extensive hours, and as you guys know, alcoholic. But
you need vitamin D, man. It's the lack of the sun. That's what's doing
I'm
it.
gonna do my best. Like that's my goal this summer, to try and rekindle with some friends, rekindle with some family, and try to enjoy life a bit, because like I've been working way too hard over the past 2-3 years. But I actually can say, like, right now things are looking good. So
yeah,
I think it's time that I can take a step back a bit and just breathe a little, because I'm exhausted as
Good. You can finally actually come to barbecues if I have them and stuff like
Are we
that.
gonna
You
do
mean
this
come
year?
to the barbecue and stay at the barbecue?
You still yeah, that's it.
Because we
And
didn't even have one last year. So
Yeah, we didn't have one last one.
We gotta basically do
Wait, we
like
didn't have one last year?
No, we
No.
didn't, man.
Wait,
Because
so
You have my barbecue.
so wait, hold on.
Remember I lent you the barbecue?
That's right. So that means the barbecue that I went to was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, our last.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
been that
Okay,
long,
that
yeah.
goes to show you how busy I've been.
Like
It
we
doesn't even seem that
technically
long.
haven't had an official "Don't Be Mad" barbecue.
Yo, let me call the boys up, get the DJs, get the battery pack out with some
Like,
speakers.
so
bring a
don't
little
worry,
round
like
around.
that. I mean, like we're building a little bit of anticipation for the people listening. If you're in Montreal or close enough and you want to come through, like, well, when we plan that stuff out, we'll put all the dates on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a new
Exactly.
barbecue.
Because as Alan knows, like we would have like big barbecues in the park, and just all of our friends would come through, friends,
and
family,
it would
whoever.
just be fun all day.
Oh, just drinking all day, eating a lot of food, playing football, like good times. And last year we didn't do it. Like a lot of us were busy. We had a lot of things going on, but this year for sure we gotta.
yeah, and I had a shoulder surgery, so I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, that
do
too.
shit.
That too. Yeah. I forgot
Well,
about
what I
the
think we
shoulders.
should do, we should just try and find a weekend and make that the ritual every.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like not Saint Jean weekend or Canada weekend, like just every
yeah, one
another day.
one where we don't have to compete with other plans.
Exactly.
For sure, that's what we'll do.
If we were to do that every time, like in that case, we won't have that issue anymore.
Like I said, this year for sure we're gonna do it. It's gonna be we're gonna title it "Don't Be Mad Barbecue" because
Hell yeah.
promote.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. It'll happen. I know you missed it. I know you missed it. The good times. But
All
now
right.
you'll actually be able to enjoy it.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, let's get to the topics.
Hey, where do you want to start, Jason?
It's up to you, man. You have full. Pick
We
whatever you
could
want.
start with
For
some
Alan,
sports.
let Alan pick what he.
Oh, Alan, yeah.
He
You,
says
Ah,
we'll let
let
the
the guest
guest have
really-
the first
Let the
one.
guest talk about what he wants to talk about.
I don't even know. There's a couple of good
Keep
topics
in
on
mind,
there.
the list is just a suggestion.
All
Because you
right.
said you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, the whole Russell Westbrook going off on the
Are you up to date with everything that's concluded from that
I
incident?
haven't updated the concluded from the incident, but I do have my opinions on it.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion on the situation is that
Well, let's break it down for the listeners first,
Yeah.
just in case there's people who don't know. Russell Westbrook, who plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder, during, what was it, Tuesday's game, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, he was playing the Utah Jazz, and there were a couple fans that were shouting profanities at him. And I believe at one point they told him to, like, get on your knees like you're used to. And from, like, the profanities plus that remark, he essentially blew up on them and, like, shouted threats to them, like, basically saying he would fuck up the dude. And then when his wife started interjecting as well, who were two people that you don't actually see in the video, you only see Russell yelling at them, but the wife as well was interjecting alongside her husband, and he said, "You better control your wife, I'll fuck her up too." So, like, huge blow up of Russell basically threatening fans.
as he
which-
should say.
Oh,
as he should. And I'm taking
I am
the-
not arguing that at all. I am 100% on Russell's
absolutely
side on this.
But
anyone can get it.
Here's
Anyone
what
can get it.
I find ridiculous about it. So these fans pay to come see a game. They badger one of the number one players on the court at that particular moment, trying to add him up to throw him off his game. Now, because the fact they went as far as what, as a black man, feel as a racial slur, which is obviously going to set me off.
Yeah.
I'm going to retaliate. He gets fined $25,000.
Yeah.
Then this goon goes on camera saying he never cussed at Russell Westbrook. His
Complete
wife
lie.
never got it. Was complete lie. I watched the whole entire thing, and I'm just like, when do people become they have to take control of their actions? And if they don't take control of their actions, they have to be responsible for the outcome of their actions.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm finding more and more is happening nowadays, that if you retaliate, the person who retaliates after being pushed over the edge ends up getting the bad end of the stick. And the person who's the antagonizer actually ends up being...
You want to jump in on?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly why. Trump's America. These people are given courage to do this stuff now.
Yes and no.
There's a
Yes
point,
and no, because there's a big history with the Utah Jazz fans.
Yeah, but not to this point.
No. But it's besides the point. If
to this point,
Trump's America, I don't believe in that shit.
Because
we're all individuals. We all think for ourselves. We should all be able to actually make our own opinions and assumptions. Because Trump is actually going to go out there and actually advocate for racism and be a bigot and go against black people and try to pretend like he's the best thing since sliced fucking bread. That doesn't fly with me. Straight up. If you roll up on me, I'm going to roll up on you. I don't care if you're white, black, Chinese, purple, blue. If you are part of the freaking... I don't care. It's bottom line. Because at what point do you have to actually take the brunt of things and allow people to disrespect you without actually proving that you need to be respected?
Well, and that's why when it comes to this particular arena, the Utah Jazz arena where they play, it's something that a lot of reporters have been talking about, the history of these fans and what they've been doing, not just in recent years, but even back when Michael was playing. And like a lot of people were stressing how you had Skip Bayless who talked about the times he would be during like the finals, Utah versus Chicago, and hear the type of profanities that they would say towards Michael and towards other black players from the Bulls to essentially throw them off their game. But it's completely crossing the line, completely flagrant. And the most that they would get from the people that are like security there is like a card that tells them if you keep this up, you're going to get kicked out.
But that's recently. That card thing is just recently.
But that's a card thing that's recently. But the problem is now
they're going.
But the problem is now is the fact that because these guys are supposed to be professionals and they're supposed to be on the court, they're made. They're the way I see it is they're being programmed to be robots and they have to ignore what people are saying to them. Like if you look back at the 1800s when you had the circus freaks, right? You know, you as a circus freak, you know that you're going to be belittled and you're going to be thrown down by the crowd. But this is 2019. This is not the way we roll.
Yeah.
So that being said, like right now at this day and age, you could be arrested on a Tuesday night for being black. And you're telling me now that you're going to go pay for seats at a game and start making racial slurs to one of the best players who happens to be black and he's not going to retaliate. That doesn't make sense to me.
But now, which is a good opportunity and a good thing now, because now they went back in that guy's social media, so they saw all the racist shit he was saying. That. He is a MAGA supporter, a Trump supporter, and all that kind of shit, and they banned him for life from the stadium now.
Okay, so they banned him.
Wait, there was two fronts with the social media because originally when like the interview that they went to the guy after the game to talk to him and he was like, oh, all I told him was, just sit there.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Like everybody knew it was bullshit because when that interview was happening live on TV, there were people at the game who were like, yo, this guy is lying. They were adding his tag, like his Twitter name and saying he's lying. Like we were sitting 3 rows behind him. We actually know him. And he's a guy who goes to these games all the time. He says a lot of profanities. Like he was saying the N-word. Like social media was literally, while he was talking, saying he was bullshitting.
And he deleted all of his Twitter tweets from
first
previous.
He made it private and then started deleting his tweets. But there were too many people that have basically went back into the history of his timeline and pulled up other times. Because last year, the same guy had an altercation with Westbrook where him and a few of his friends were calling him boy. So it's like you're a repeat offender against the same person, number one. Number two, there's so much proof showing that, no, this wasn't just a one-off incident where maybe he heard something different. Like, no, you did this on purpose. You go there to edge him on. And apparently he has a channel where like he films all these times where he's yelling at people to get reactions out of them. This was just the one time that it blew up.
But this is why I brought up the reason for why I say Trump's America. People are emboldened now to do this stuff because they see the president. Oh, President Trump can do it. I can do it too. And I'm like, all right, you're brave now. But if you see one of these stars run up on you, like that dude from I think it was the Rams, like one of
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters. One of the people in the crowd was saying some bullshit to Marcus Peters. He went in the stands, went up to his face. What are you saying now? Man kept quiet.
But you should never have to come to that.
You shouldn't have to do that. But that proves,
the only place that I feel Westbrook was wrong is obviously in the threatening. Because and as much as I say like I'm glad he did it because these fans get away with fucking murder sometimes. But he has to remember that at the end of the day, he's part of this brand. He's a part of this team. Go to security, tell them what they're doing, and walk away.
No. I beg to differ.
No,
I beg to differ on that.
No, what I'm saying is what he has to, because
fined,
talking about the $25,000 fine.
That's what bothers me.
The reason they did that is because of the rule itself. But technically, he should have been fined and suspended. They didn't suspend him because they realized, no, like, you were clearly provoked to this point.
Well, if that's the case, then they should take away the fine as well.
No, I don't think he should have got fined or anything. But the rule of thumb, and especially with the way the NBA and all these other sports conglomerates are being run right now, their thing is to protect the fans, which is ridiculous because there's nothing protecting the players from the fans, which is a problem.
But that's the problem. That's the biggest problem.
And when it came to Westbrook, the only way he can protect himself from the fans is to tap a security guard and tell him. But then, unless there's somebody that can walk up right away and be like, "No, this is what he said. Like, he's telling the truth."
It's not gonna. It's gonna lie. It's
literally like, okay, this is your warning, but the guy's gonna keep doing it. You know.
This is why you need another Malice in the Palace. You need to have another one. No, I'm not joking. I'm telling the truth. Because
I've said many times, some of these fans need to get punched in the mouth.
You need to have another one like that, because after that happened, when Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, all the people went in the crowds, they kept quiet.
We need another one of those things. Because once that happens, you're never gonna have that problem again. At least for a while, at least.
You're not gonna have it for a while.
But that's the thing, and it's also when you look at all of these other sports, you know, like you look at the way the NHL arena is set up. It's a rink. There's high glass. The fans can shout what they want. You're not getting to these players. NFL, there's a nice amount of distance between the field, the players, and the bleachers. When it's the NBA, you are literally right there. These fans have way too close access to these players.
It's not only
to be allowing this right now.
It's not only that. If you look at NHL arenas, they're built in, acoustically speaking, they've been built in ways where when the chants come from the crowd, it's to amplify.
Yeah.
If you look at football, it's the same thing. Certain stadiums sound very much louder decibel levels.
Seattle's
exactly. Seattle's probably one of the loudest ones that it is actually built.
Kansas City.
Exactly. Acoustically, this is what their game is to do. But in basketball, that's not the game.
Yeah.
They're there to watch a ball game. They hear some music, get some hype, and that's it. It's not about
I have no problem with heckling.
But there's a limit.
Exactly. Because in any sport, you're going to get heckling. Like, you're going to get somebody who in NHL bangs on the glass when they're taking a face off. Like, it happens, you know?
Right.
Like, even if you yell out
you've seen players come off the ice and grab guys over the ring who was trying to heckle them. Like, you've seen it happen.
You know what
before.
happens?
And you know what happens. Absolutely. But in terms of basketball, when it comes down to this level, like, and this is one of the things that bothers me with the whole Westbrook thing, is because why is he being fined $25,000 because he has to defend his integrity of who he is?
Which is why I was very happy when they asked him, like, if you could go back and redo anything, would you? And he said, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
And he said, as a man, I will never change the way I choose to defend myself, my family, my wife, my kids.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I 100% agree with him. There's absolutely no way fans should be even thinking they can get away with some of the shit they try to get away with.
Mm-mm.
Like, how dare you think you can look at Westbrook, who's literally here for your entertainment? You paid money to see him and his team against your favorite team and your favorite players.
That's why you need to have goons in the crowd.
Like, the audacity of you to think you're going to pay that money and then come here and disrespect me, and the only reason you're able to be here is because of myself and the rest of us players? Ridiculous.
Well, you have to have goons in the crowd, man. Gotta have.
It's not even a point of the goons in the crowd. Like, I don't believe in goons or all that crap. If you're telling me that I have to accept the fact because Trump is a racist,
it's an entitlement problem.
Like,
it's
I think they're just emboldened. They're emboldened. I'm not saying that they never did, but they're doing it more, and it's more frequent now that they're doing it. That's why I say Trump is one of the problems.
Because let's look outside of and just because this isn't the first time that somebody's gotten close to Westbrook or even any other player for that matter, where you'll have fans that literally just walk up and try to grab you, or you had that one fan that took Katie's hat off of his head when he was walking through the tunnel. Fans have come to a position, regardless of what America is right now. It's just because we have so much access to these stars, whether they're celebrity, athletes, musicians. We have so much access to them that these fans, these people who follow them, feel entitlement to who these people are. Like, whatever I do to you, you have to accept because you're here for me.
But you see, that's the problem.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem. Like, three black guys here, I'm pretty sure we can actually say that growing up, our parents taught us how to respect boundaries, regardless whether you're young, old,
I would
rich,
hope so.
poor,
Yeah.
celebrity.
Yeah.
Not. So that's the problem that I find today is the fact that there's no boundaries that are being drawn.
Yeah.
And as an adult, if an adult can actually go out and do this, just shows our youth today that, you know what, there's no boundaries. I can do whatever. If somebody who is supposed to be responsible of me can do this, why can't I?
That's why you need to have
That's a problem.
you need to discipline people, and I mean by discipline, I mean you need to stomp someone out for
Absolutely.
them to get it.
But that's one of the reasons why, Jay, I have to actually like bring down your whole this Trump generation because
it's beyond that.
It's beyond that because all Trump did was like Obama did. I'm not gonna he did a lot of good shit, but there's a lot of shit that he did was bad as well. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, yo, he was like the next John Paul the 13th. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But one thing he didn't advocate was hate.
Yeah.
So because the fact the president of the United States is bestowing hate doesn't mean that as a personal and as an individual, I should sit here and be like, okay, you know what? Hey, the president can do it. Shit, let me go and do the same thing. I don't believe in that. That's not fair. Because, look, I'm not gonna go into like whole different topic. I'm gonna stick to the topic at hand, but like, you know what I'm saying, right? It's like it's not gonna be where I don't believe that because the president of the United States is a bigot means the fact that everybody who is a right winger should be a bigot as well.
no, that's not what I'm not saying. I'm just saying,
I'm saying that, but like in a certain manner, you're trying. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. What you're trying to say is because you're a right winger and because you are a Trump supporter, you're condoning that kind of kind of problem.
What I'm saying is in this whole situation is that people who are ignorant are going to be ignorant.
Absolutely.
But the what I'm saying by the whole Trump thing is because of the president. It has nothing to do with right wing, left wing, whatever. If you're ignorant, you're going to be more ignorant. And now you see someone in power being ignorant to a certain point, you're going to be emboldened to do it. So all he's doing is, he's giving the ignorant people more ammunition to be even more ignorant. That's how I see it with them. Because these people are going to be there regardless.
But
Absolutely.
like I
They're gonna be there
said, I
regardless.
get,
But he's
completely
emboldening
get
them.
and understand
He's
your art
emboldening
because
them.
we've seen examples of it. But when it comes to the sports world, and especially when it comes to Utah Jazz fans, this type of actions have been happening way before Trump ever came in office. When Derek Fisher's daughter was diagnosed with that rare eye cancer, he had in the game that he was playing there when he went back to the Lakers, there were fans that were literally holding one of their eyes closed.
Yeah, because they're mad he went back to the Lakers.
While
but
shouting
they're
at him,
ignorant,
like hoping he'd miss a free throw, you know,
Yeah,
like
because-
fucked up shit like that. But, and to go back, like I said, like we have the example that Skip Bayless was talking about when he was covering Michael and those finals where they were throwing derogatory racial slurs to the players back then as well. So it's, yeah, we've seen correlation of emboldenment when it comes to Trump's America, but I feel like when it comes to this specific situation, it's something that has been just a trend for the Utah Jazz fans way before this America as we know it has been around.
So that's a Utah problem then.
Yeah, that's exactly. It is a Utah problem. But in the greater scope of sports itself, because you recently had that guy from Aston Villa who got punched while he was on the pitch, and some fan ran out there and punched him in the back of the head.
But to be fair, that happens in England. A lot of English soccer games.
Not a matter of to be fair. I'm just saying it's another example of we have these emboldened, entitled fans who think they can just go out and do these fucked up shit.
But if that's the case, they should be prosecuted to the fullest.
And that's a security problem.
But they're not.
They should be. Especially in the case with that football player who got punched in the back of his head. Yeah, you assaulted the guy. I think he got 14 weeks in jail plus a...
No, that's not enough.
I don't think it's enough either.
I don't think it's enough.
I don't think it's enough either.
If he had retaliated and turned around and clocked him in his face, I guarantee he would have got like a $50,000 fine plus penalties of like 3 to 4 games. You know what I mean? For defending
Something like that,
himself.
Well,
And he gets 14 weeks in jail.
football
That's not
players
enough.
don't get that because football players, if you come on the field, you're allowed to really destroy a person. You could tackle them if you want, and they don't get nothing. They won't get nothing.
All right.
That's why you don't see again, and that's why you don't see a lot of them, like especially at football games. You don't see any fans run on the field or do anything because we seen one get tackled who was streaking, and his body was like contorted in different ways because he got.
Then they should apply that to basketball. They should apply it to every other sport.
You gotta stomp out some people
because once it just takes one person to actually be made an example. And I was like, shit, I ain't gonna do that.
Remember how Ron Artest fucked up all those people?
Yo, he went on a
people
spree.
forgot, man.
Him
That's
and
the
Steven
problem.
Jackson
He
fucked
went
up all
Grand
those
Theft
people.
Auto without a gun.
There's a man who is alive today simply because Jermaine O'Neal slipped.
Yep, he's lucky. That punch just missed.
There is a man who is literally like rewatching that video and be like, and that was the moment I thought I was gonna die. But then God intervened, and now he's on the pulpit talking about why you shouldn't heckle fans,
Exactly.
like players, right? He's on the pulpit right now, being like, "You see what happened? Russell Westbrook had restraint. I almost died at the hands of Jermaine O'Neal."
All right, let's move along to the next topic.
Keeping up with violence in sports. Did you guys see what Ibaka and Marquise Chris went through?
I saw a little bit of on TV.
Yeah, I
and
saw
I was
that.
Like,
Yo, I don't get why Ibaka keeps fighting people.
he doesn't land no punches.
Look,
Never.
And again, bring him up.
But he's always ready to swing.
And-
yeah,
Again-
but here's the thing. What I'm trying to figure out is, how long's his contract?
No, I think he's got at least 2-3 years.
Okay,
Because
he has 2-3
Toronto signed
years.
him for a long
This is
term.
his first year, right?
No, it's his second
No.
year. with
First or
Toronto.
second year?
Second or third or something like
Second
that.
or
At the
third,
rate
but
he's going?
they signed him for multi.
Yeah.
If he was smart, within the next 2 years, stop acting all wild because they will not resign his ass.
Oh, of course not.
No, I don't mind.
Like I don't
saw
get
that.
why
I was
he
like,
is-
what?
and like, the whole play was like
It was
it was
legit.
nothing. It's like, okay, your teammate threw a lob down the court. We both went after it. You jumped. I didn't. You fell. I didn't. I walk away from you.
but you
Now you're grabbing me by the throat.
see,
The fuck?
Ibaka is one of those fake tough guys, like DeMarcus
Oh,
Cousins
100%.
and a whole bunch of people. They don't
Put
fight
him up against
no one.
Westbrook.
Huh?
Put him up against Westbrook.
No, but this is the thing.
Westbrook will fuck him
When
up.
when
No,
Ibaka,
he had a chance to fight Ron Artest, and
Ron
He
Artest
thought
said,
twice.
Ron Artest squared up on him. He said, "Come on." Ibaka didn't swing nothing like
he
that.
thought twice.
There's only one goon.
Probably
in-
the smartest decision he made in his life.
There's only one goon in the NBA, and that's Zach Randolph. He is the only true goon in
Hey.
the NBA.
I wouldn't want to fight Steven Adams.
Please, Zach Randolph.
What?
eats food.
I
Zach-
saw Steven Adams get punched in the face and his head didn't move.
Zach Randolph. would
I'm
eat
quite
his
sure the
food.
player's hand broke. There was another fight Steven Adams was with where he was literally holding two guys with one hand while holding off his player with the other hand, and the two guys were trying to fight off Stevens, and Stevens was just like, "Yo, just relax, just chill." like, come on. One guy that
I ain't
that
worried
New
about Steven
Zealand
Adams.
strength.
I ain't worried about Steven Adams because I remember Zach Randolph was like to DeMarcus Cousins. In my hood, bullies get bullied.
Well,
DeMarcus
no,
Cousins
I'm
was
not
just
downplaying
quiet.
Zach Randolph.
Just
Don't get me
quiet.
wrong, because look, Zach Randolph is still selling weed while he's in the league, but you ain't hear from me. You ain't hear from me, but I heard he ain't got no mid. That's what I
I
heard.
didn't say nothing about Zach
Okay,
Randolph. Dude is a goon. I'm not-
but he's still playing. Okay, we know he doing it, but he's still playing.
like when he started clowning, what's his face, Blake Griffin, and Blake Griffin was just
I would clown. I'm sorry, Blake Griffin deserves to get heckling. How do you punch a personal trainer in the face and you break your hand? You deserve to get a little bit of heckling for that.
Got milk.
yeah, man.
You can jump over a kid but can't punch a dude? Like, come
Well,
on.
But NBA fights are a little bit overrated. No one can really fight. Everyone just swinging wild and shit.
Look, I still miss the NBA from the 90s.
Oh, man.
That's
We're-
one of the reasons why I don't really
We
watch
got to shout out
NBA.
Carmelo, though, for the greatest back pedal after a punch ever.
Oh yeah, Carmelo did the most.
A full court
He was
back
all the
pedal.
way up in the garden. He was all the way in the rafters in the garden when he was doing all I was backing up steps. Carmelo did he moonwalked. He moonwalked all the way up. He moonwalked.
I never seen somebody backpedal a full court so quickly in my life after throwing the first punch. It was great.
Look, I still miss the NBA of the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you on that, bro.
Even early 2000s. Like now, I watch NCAA because these dudes want to play.
They want to make money. They don't want to play. They want to make money.
Look, I'll watch
but even at NCAA,
if, like,
they're trying to make it to the NBA. That's their goal. Is, but not even that. The thing is, if you look at the NBA, once you get to the NBA, you're like, you're set. So these guys are getting soft. If you look like back in the day, like Muggsy Bogues, Larry Bird, Pippen, Charles Barkley,
because those guys actually hated each other.
Huh?
Those guys actually hated each other.
Absolutely, but that's what made them the better player.
Yeah.
You know what
Whereas
I mean?
now it's like, yeah, everybody's really buddy. Like there's no real like rivalries anymore.
But that's exactly it. That's one of the reasons why I watch NCAA, because these dudes want to play.
Of course.
Those guys want to play.
So you're saying that's the real
I've
NBA?
never watched so many Duke games in my life. But I'll tell you right now, that boy Zion is nice. And he's back tonight.
Yo, Zion is good.
I got the game recording at home. Like, he's back tonight.
that dude's gonna be like the next Shaquille / Jordan /
better.
He's gonna be.
He has literally the build of a mini LeBron,
mm-hmm.
and that's me being kind because he's fucking like he's built like a linebacker with the athleticism of a tight end, but he has the movement and court IQ of some of the greatest.
Absolutely.
And he still has to learn.
Right.
Like, he's nowhere near his ceiling.
Well, if he ends up on the Knicks, his career is done.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he might be able to bring the Knicks.
Nope. Stop
Look,
it. It never happened.
I'm going to get my ass kicked for saying this, okay?
Considering everything Dolan did with banning that fan because his ego got a bit too big.
No, look.
I will shoot the Knicks some fair share here, and them getting Zion plus possibly getting KD or Kyrie.
Not happening.
Look.
Do you know what possibly means?
Okay.
No,
With Zion,
I'm
going to give you the comparison of how powerful Zion can be.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I'm
possibly.
There's zero chance.
It can possibly.
It's actually minus
No, I'm going to show you how powerful Zion can be. Remember that game that Kobe played where before the game everyone was talking smack about the fact that, how he's a hog and that he couldn't play, whatever the case is, and he didn't do shit for the first half of the game? Remember that? And they were down by like 30 points. And then he was like, all right, I'm ready for this. And he brought them up by like 15 points. And like...
It's the Black Mamba. I never doubt Kobe.
Okay, Zion's that guy.
Okay, I don't know.
No,
Kobe,
Zion
Kobe
is... Look, he's young, but let me tell you, Zion is going to be that guy.
The one thing I really like about Zion, and I mean, we might as well talk a bit of college basketball because March Madness is right around the corner. But what I really like about Zion is the fact that he's an extremely efficient player.
Because he doesn't shoot. He dunks.
He dunks. He has a short jumper that needs to improve, which will improve once he's in the NBA, but he's efficient. He gets his inside points. He takes his long jumpers when he has them, and he usually hits. He'll finish a game being like 12 for 14, 15 for 18, and rake up like 24 plus points.
But you can do that in college, though. You can get away with that.
But you see a lot of guys in college who will give you 20 to 22 points, but they took closer to 30 shots.
Not in college basketball. They don't get that many shots in college. You have to be really efficient in college basketball.
RJ Barrett is averaging 24 shots a game.
But that's an aberration though on the team that he's on. He's on a team where he can get away with that. Yeah. He's not like on Northwestern or something like that. He's on Duke.
To bring it back to Zion, you get that from that efficiency from him, plus you get the defense. You see a guy who's literally like chasing down plays. He's closing the gap from basket to perimeter faster than we see most people do. Like he's
But
insane.
Not only that, have you heard the ticket pricing to see Zion right now for NCAA?
Oh, it was fucking finals prices and Super Bowl prices at one point for the Duke and NC game.
Any other game that Zion wasn't playing was a quarter, if not an eighth, of whatever he was actually playing at.
Oh yeah.
Sway in the morning, Sway was freaking out.
At one point,
Sway was like saying, like, you know what? Why would you actually pay that kind of money to Zion, even though he's as good as he is? Why would you? That's how good he is.
Look, if I had it, if I had that $2,500 to $3,000 just to watch him play one game, if I had it, I would.
No, but no, some games would go for $7,500 a game.
I know.
Less.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. I would
But
never pay that.
it
It was ridiculous
I would
because people were buying the tickets and then reselling them. Because I mean,
But
gold
okay,
mine.
hold on. Your tickets are already $7,500. Who?
Well, the thing was, prior to like it getting to that point, the early pricing for it were in the hundreds, and then as like because you have like the student pricing and all that stuff. Once all that got out the way, and it was like the courtside and media, those seats they started at 2,500, shot up to 7,500, and that was mostly through like the resales and things like that. But it started at 2,500 for those like court sides or media section sides.
I would
It
never
was
pay that much.
insane.
I wouldn't pay that.
I would never pay that much money to see a
I
college
spent a
player.
lot of money on some stupid shit in my life, but I'm not that stupid.
No, not a college player, man.
Hey, if I had it, I mean,
Even
like
if-
had it to the point where like if I spent it and I don't even think about it, I would.
If I had it, I still
Why
wouldn't do
not? Because it's like how, and it's unfortunate that that was the game that he got injured too, but you're looking at it as this is a moment in history,
That's
like there's certain like moments in history where you're like, yeah, if I could have, 100%.
That's what replay is for and stuff and TV.
No, but
Thank
it's
you.
there's and that come on, like that's like saying recording it on your phone or like watching a concert.
No,
through,
no,
like,
no,
Instagram
no,
is the
look,
same
it's
as
not,
being
it's
there.
not,
It's not
it's
the
not.
same.
it's not the same as
there's
being
an-
there, but
I
like,
went
the
and saw
fact of
Drizzy in Montreal.
Being there.
Let me tell you, it was great. But for the difference in pricing for the tickets, it was worth it. But I would not have spent
But,
$7,500 to go
I
see the
hold
show.
I hold sports a bit higher than like the music stuff because for me it's like moments in sports they happen and that's it. It's
I beg to differ.
it's like lightning in a bottle. Like you're not gonna get it.
I beg to differ, and that's that's another topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
Because like
That's a rabbit
we
hole.
can go on that for
That's a
like
rabbit
an
hole.
hour with me.
But what I say when it
But-
comes to sports, because there's so many great sports moments that yeah we see it on TV and it's amazing. But when like going to Habs games, and I remember going to one of the Habs games where we literally we played in the New Jersey Devils. It was a high scoring game, literally going back and forth. 1 minute we're up, 1 minute we're down. Goes into OT, and now it's 4-4 in OT. Breaks out, or maybe like 3-4 minutes in, we finally score, and just like that feeling of holy shit, I think I just watched one of the greatest games.
Nah, but it happens. That happens so often.
The thing
in
is,
hockey, though.
but the thing is, as much as it happens, to be there in that moment, and yeah, you'll take pictures, you'll record, but to be like, I recorded this because I was there with my friends. We were
Understandable,
watching
but-
it together. Like it's a moment,
$7,500. That's a lot of goddamn money. I could think
It
of
is.
a lot of things
It
I could pay
is.
off.
Dude.
With my current salary, fuck that shit. Okay, don't get me wrong. With my current salary, I'm sitting at home. I'm a DVR it
Exactly.
so then maybe I can run it back.
Exactly.
But
Like, oh shit!
if I didn't have my salary, if I had a salary where 7,500, you know what? Even if it was more of, I'm gonna have to do some OTs to reap it
I'm
back.
too responsible with money to do that.
I would.
Too responsible with money to actually pay that price. Never.
Exactly. I'm
But
the same
what
way.
I'm- but we're saying that with our salaries.
No. If I had $1 million, I'm not paying that much money to go see.
To
a
be
dude
honest,
play
I'm the
basketball
same
when I
way.
see on TV.
If you had $1 million and it wasn't working for you,
No,
you're
I
really not
agree
being
with. I'm
responsible.
on Jason's side
and
with this.
no,
one.
but I get what he's saying. But at the same time, it's like I'm not saying do this for everything. You're not gonna do it for
all right.
everything.
So let me ask you this: how do you know that game is going to be that special for you to pay that kind of money?
You don't.
Exactly.
So you don't pay it.
It's like going on vacation. How do you know you're gonna get great weather? You don't.
I don't. I know it'll be at the bar.
Yeah.
It's all inclusive, right?
But I didn't go to vacation just
Hold
to
on,
drink.
hold on,
I
hold
could
on, hold
drink
on.
at home.
Hold on. Exactly.
I could have saved
Hold on, hold on.
$1,000 and
Hold
drank
on,
at
hold
home.
on. Look, let me make something clear to you. If I go on vacation, it's all inclusive. Let me tell you, if the weather is shit,
I'm still having a good time.
I'm still having a good time. And if I do not have good weather, I'm having good ass drinks. That's all I know.
Oh, of course.
I'm drinking my money's worth. But with a ball game, if the game is shit, what are you gonna do? You're out of it, right? You're done and out.
You're out of it.
Ask
Exactly.
the many,
It's the risk you run.
As the many Montreal Canadian fans, how many bullshit games they've gone to and paid ridiculous.
Hey, we've
amount
been
of
having a
price.
great season. What are you talking about?
Habs are in the playoffs right now.
We're right now in the wild card position
That's
because
not
we
good
lost
enough.
2 games, which means we are in that hunt. We are that close.
We
Who's
lost
we?
2 games badly.
No, I'm not saying they were okay losses, but we're still in a position where we can make playoffs.
All right.
Last year, there was no hope.
Go to the next top.
Actually, we're going to skip AB because I want to talk about the good old Browns. Oh, where's Tyler?
Tyler's in the back somewhere.
Tyler, we need you. I want you to be here for this.
He's not going to be on it.
No, I just wanted to sit in. The Browns are looking like they are stacking themselves up for the most immaculate playoff run.
And still end up in last place, as usual. The Browns.
Dude, they weren't in last place last year. What are you talking about?
The Browns, man. They're not even
I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit this one out because
It's the Browns
I've been out
With
of
Baker
the-
Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr.,
Oh, wow.
the Giants are out of their fucking minds. How do you trade one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL right now for peanuts, literally?
That's the Giants' problem.
They're so dumb.
That's them.
Which is why I wanted Jamali to be here. I need to ask him what the Giants are doing.
Jamali, all the times you been clowning when Matt's not here, just like, where the fuck you at?
He's going to see it anyway, so don't worry
I
about
need
it. He'll see it.
Jamali's my counterpart.
But where is Jamal anyways?
Oh, he's out.
Jamali's my counterpart, man. I need him here for this. I need to ask him what's the plan. I don't get it because I look at it like
Matt,
you've literally just like solidified
can I?
the Browns.
Matt, can I?
Go for it.
Jamali, are you with your whores?
Nah, leave Jamali alone.
No,
Jamali's probably just doing something at home. No, you say he couldn't come, though. But
no. When Jamal
Well, Jamal,
says
you know I got
he's-
nothing but love for you, homie. You know I ain't got nothing but love for you, homie.
I doubt he's with the whores. I highly doubt it. No, he said he had something serious that came up and he had to deal with it. So I trust his word on that. But yeah, man, it's just I find it so weird that the Giants use the excuse of he's Odell Beckham Jr. is a possible distraction in the future, which is why we feel the best thing for us going forward is to trade him. Yet currently, your biggest issue on the field is your quarterback.
good old broken arm.
And like for that, I don't
Eli.
understand.
What?
But, like I don't get that premise of.
Much for your ass working tomorrow.
Oh no, I'll make it work.
What don't you understand? That they kept Eli instead of Odell?
That they didn't even try to like dangle the bacon in front of somebody's face of does anybody need Eli?
No one wants Eli.
No one wants him, but he could be a serviceable backup.
No,
somewhere.
he can't. He's not even an NFL quarterback at this point.
No, I won't go that
He's
far.
not.
Look, Nathan
is not.
Peterman.
He's not.
As long as Nathan Peterman is an NFL quarterback, all other quarterbacks that are on a roster deserve to be there.
Eli is in the same boat as him.
No, what we know of Eli is he can go out there and he's actually won a few games.
Oh boy, here we go.
What? No, don't take what I'm saying as he's great. He could win a Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying that. He's a serviceable quarterback.
Bringing the water, probably. That's all about he can do. Eli is terrible. Eli is garbage.
I'm not arguing with you on that.
Dumpster juice. He
But-
can't play football anymore. This is what I'm telling you.
Oh, he can
cannot
play.
play football anymore.
He
It's
can
over.
play.
It's done.
He can't play well,
Can't play at all.
but he could play.
How are you have Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley, and you're getting sacked at every single turn, and you have time to throw the ball, but you're missing them? Come on, man.
The biggest thing though
Eli is trash.
is looking at the Browns. For once since I was born and since I can remember, this is a team that actually has components and weapons and a young defensive core, which is always the scariest fucking thing you want to see from an opposing team, that could do damage. And we saw what they were capable of last year with all the chaos and turmoil that happened in the first 4 to 5 weeks of their season, and still end up in a position where they were fighting for a playoff spot
was
even
the
though they
coach?
didn't get it.
Who was the coach?
Who, Hugh Jackson?
No, after Hugh Jackson.
I only remember Duzan.
Oh, well, he's gone.
Yeah, I know.
And
he's
now
not.
you have a Greg Kitchens, who's never been a coach on any level.
But he is an offensive-minded guy who has had good offense.
Never been a coach on any level who has to deal with all of these personalities.
Well, you know what? Now you're in a position. It's a clean slate. Which, how many times do we talk about teams that just literally need to blow everything up, start over, and make it look new?
The Browns have blown their team up 800 times.
No, the biggest problem that the Browns had is that they didn't blow up their team.
What do you? They've
Dude,
had like 14
so long
quarterbacks.
as Hugh Jackson was there, you were not blowing up your team.
Before Hugh Jackson, they
blowing
had like
up is literally getting rid of the whole staff, getting rid of trimming the fat of the team, and then bringing in talent, bringing in coaches that'll make it work.
You can't put all this on Hugh Jackson because before Hugh Jackson, the team was still terrible. They were even worse.
Look, they've been a bad team for a long time.
And there'll always be a bad team.
But right now, with that roster, and with the way they came into last season and they found their place, they found their mark, this is a dangerous fucking team.
Not doing shit.
Plus, you got
Browns.
Nick Chubb back there. They're going to get Kareem Hunt, depending on how long his suspension is going to be when they
If he
finally
comes
announce
back
it.
into the league, but there we go.
No, he is. He's on the Browns.
exempt list. He's on the exempt list, and he hasn't come off it yet.
But
As
that's what
long
I'm
as he
saying.
go-
So it's when
as-
he comes back. When he comes back, he's going to be on the Browns.
That's if the commissioner decides to bring him back. They're still going through that. That's what I'm saying.
They're going to bring him back.
I highly
Expect like most people, like they've been saying it's going to look like 6-7 weeks,
so that
which would be perfect timing because you come in on week 6, week 7. Now you're literally a relief for Nick Chubb because he's going to be getting banged up out there. So you got fresh leg Kareem Hunt coming in for a 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb. That's disgusting.
I don't understand this newfound confidence in the Browns. This is like believing in the Knicks are going to do something in the playoffs.
No, it's not. It's not believing in the Knicks
That's
because
exactly what it
even
is.
I told you last season they would get at least 6 wins, and they ended up with 8.
They ended up with 8 wins. I know they ended up with a couple ties.
They had 8 wins.
Are you sure?
They were 8-7-1.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I don't think
8-7-1.
I think they had more losses than they had wins.
They were 8-7-1.
Because that's the Baltimore. I think that's Baltimore's record, and they made the playoffs.
I'm quite sure Baltimore had 9 wins.
I think Baltimore had more, about that same amount. Whatever the case
Let's do
is.
research since
Whatever,
we're bad at
whatever
this.
the case is. Whatever the case is.
I've been so out of sports because of work, so
No, it's not even that.
I'm sitting out of this one.
Let me ask you the question: when was the last time you remember the Cleveland Browns being good? There you go. That's the
Nobody's
answer I
saying
needed.
they're good.
That's the answer I needed. No, because
No, 7-8-1.
there you go.
I mixed up the 8 and the 7, but they were
There you
7-8-1.
Close enough.
One more win over the amount of wins I said they would get, plus a tie.
That's still a loss to me. Tie's a loss because you don't win nothing.
Well, the NFL looks at it as a win and a loss,
NFL,
which is why if a team is like if a team was 7-9 and you're 7-8-1, you're ahead of them. Whereas if a team is 8-8, you're below them. It's literally that.
Hey, all I'm saying is,
You're just that in between.
all I'm saying is, don't have confidence in this team. Anyone, I've told
Look,
Tyler
I'm not
this.
going out
Told
to.
Tyler this many times. Don't believe in the
I'm
Browns.
not calling
They're
a
trash.
bookie and dropping $1,000 on the Browns. Don't get me wrong.
Told Tyler this many times. That's what you did. You put
They're
money
not
on
my
the Browns?
team. I don't bet against.
I would never put.
But what
money
I'm saying
on
is the Browns currently have a team. Because last year they had the defense. The defense was set up and good, except for the fact that Myles Garrett got hurt. So now that Myles Garrett is going to be back, you have your cornerback. I can never remember this guy's name, but he's there. And they added another defensive player as well. Their defense is young and stacked. It was looking at that offense and being like, okay, you got Baker Mayfield, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Nick Chubb. You definitely need another running back to give genuine relief to Nick Chubb. And you need a second downhill threat because Jarvis Landry, he's good for your slants. He's good for your short routes. But you need somebody who's going down the field. And comes Odell Beckham Jr.
Here we go. Here we go. Look at Tyler behind me.
Look, he hates. He doesn't hate. He's been hating on Baker Mayfield.
Because Bakerfield's nothing impressive.
I ain't
You-
gonna
you-
tell you
right now.
I'm not gonna say nothing because, like I said, I've been
So
so overworked.
I've been
I haven't
telling
watched
people,
much.
watch out for Baker Mayfield. There's certain people that have that competitive dog in them that when it comes down to it, they'll do it for you.
Oh
That's
boy,
what he
here we
is.
go. Here we go.
He doesn't like him.
Here we go.
He's allowed to not like him. That's fine.
Here we go with Baker Mayfield. Oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna be like Brett Favre. Oh, he's drawing stuff in the ground with his hands.
Whoa,
like a kid.
I
Please.
never.
That's how people.
That's all Jason's words. It's not mine.
That's how you guys are lauding
That's all
Baker
Jason's
Mayfield.
words, not mine.
All I'm saying is,
Y'all can't bring me into this one.
oh, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. Everyone, when was the last time as you remember being the Browns of this generation being good? Never. And
Look,
remember,
I'm not.
and also,
I'm not
and also-
arguing this.
And also remember, before they became the Baltimore Ravens, How good was the Browns? Not good, because they had to move their whole team to Baltimore. That's how terrible they were. That's all I'm going to tell you.
You won't get an argument from me on those cases. I agree, because that's the history. But there's a turning point for everything. Remember when the Golden State Warriors were dirt shit?
Golden State Warriors still had a championship before they were dirt shit, though.
But they had a long stretch in time where nobody even considered them, looked at them, wanted to play for them because they were garbage. Now we look at them as one of the greatest teams in the league.
Okay.
Ooh.
Golden State Warriors. There's a turning point for everything.
Okay.
Go ahead. See what you have to say.
Why do we consider them
Why did
the
Golden
greatest?
State?
Why?
Their team is stacked.
I said one of the greatest teams in the league.
Why?
You got 5 All-Stars on that team.
You have the whole starting lineup.
They have
all-star team.
one of the best records in the league.
Okay.
They're two-time
Absolutely,
defending
absolutely correct.
champions.
But now, if you look at Chicago Bulls,
One of the greatest teams in the 90s. The greatest team in the 90s.
Forget the 90s. What about now?
Chicago Bulls?
Yeah,
Great history.
That Bull team's gonna kill them.
Oh my God! But you just said it. They had a bad history, and now they're one of the greatest. So Chicago Bulls used to be one of the greatest of all time, and now.
But no, that's actually
existed.
a perfect thing to bring up, because now you're looking at a team that was complete greatness, and now they're one of the worst teams in the league.
Absolutely.
Whereas now you have the Cleveland Browns, who are complete dog shit, and now they're in position to literally turn their likeness around.
And they'll still continue to be poop.
Look, they make the playoffs. That right there.
Playoffs? Talking
Yes.
about playoffs?
If they make the playoffs, you're already seeing from 2 seasons ago to last season, where they were 7-8-1 in a playoff hunt and literally were dependent on a couple teams losing for them to make it in. And then this year they make it to the playoffs. Even if they lose first round, they make it to playoffs. That's progression in the positive manner.
They're like the Dallas Cowboys. And this is what Stephen A. always says. What can go wrong will go wrong. This is what they do.
Whoa,
this is what they do. This is this is the Browns. This is what they do. It's not even I'm hating them.
Look, I'm
what they do.
I'm judging it based on what I see has been happening in the last few seasons. You went from 0-16 to fighting to get into the playoffs to making great offseason moves to potentially put you over that hump. I just got to call it as I see it. I'm not looking at what happened back then.
I give you credit on that.
Because look, if I'm going to look back at what happened, like he said with Chicago, I should still be calling Chicago the greatest team in the league if I'm going to look back on what Chicago did. Or I could even look at what Boston did back then or what the Lakers did back then and be like, no, they're the greatest team in the league right now. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to judge you on what have you done for me lately. And lately, what the Browns have done for themselves,
still lose.
We got to wait and see.
I don't have to wait and see.
The season doesn't start till what, September?
We got to wait and see. Right now. The Browns don't make the playoffs and lose again. There you go. It's been working for the last 17 years. Oh. It's going to work for another 18.
You said they weren't going to win 6 games last season.
And I said they were going to make the playoff. Wasn't I right?
They won 7. No,
did they not make
our
the
conversation was, I don't know who you said not make the playoffs with. Our conversation was, I said they have a team that can win at least 6 games. And they won 7. I didn't overreach when it came to the Browns. I look at it as, what have you done to make me feel this way? So you went out there and got your quarterback a great downfield threat, and you know, unlike Eli, this guy could throw it to him, and they have a great O-line.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I expect at least playoffs from these guys.
Just to sleep at the wheel.
Because now there aren't any excuses. You got a new coaching staff. You have the weapons. You have the defense. There are no excuses.
Oh, the optimism of the young. I love it.
No, it's not even optimism. I'm going to call it as I see it. This is what it is.
All right.
You want to judge them based on 20 plus years, go for it. I'm looking at you right now. What are you doing for me right now? That's it.
All right. So let's say if the season starts next year for NBA and the Knicks are in first place the first 2 weeks and you see the complete roster change. Are you going to believe that the Knicks are going to win championship?
First 2 weeks? Do we judge any team on the first 2 weeks?
You're judging a team that's not even haven't played yet.
No, I'm judging what their expectations should be. And from that, I'm saying, I think that should be their expectation. Playoffs based on what they've done.
I think
I'm not saying they're going to be a great team and like best team in the league. No, I'm saying look at their progression from what they did from 2 seasons ago, last season, and now. Their expectation should be playoffs.
No, not gonna happen. But let's go on to a different topic because talking about these stupid ass Browns.
The Johnny Depp situation.
Yeah.
I don't know about that much, so you guys talk about that, Johnny Depp.
Do you want to kick it off? I mean, I don't know how much you read up on it. I
read up on it. I did some research on this shit. And this shit got some shit on it.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Look. I know I'm going to get my ass whooped on this.
Tell the truth. Don't be afraid. Say it with your chest.
Man. This is a safe space.
So,
say it with your chest.
So here's the thing. So she's going after him for allegedly beating her. But he had to go through surgery from her throwing a bottle of vodka at him and breaking his finger, which he's suing her for. What I'm finding right now is the fact that I swear to God, I have 2 daughters. I've raised kids that are females. There's a girl that I've actually raised myself. She's now 23. And I'm a very pro Me Too movement type of person. Under the understanding that it's a Me Too allegation. How are you going to look and tell me you're trying to sue this man for beating your ass, but yet still he has to go for surgery for you throwing a bottle at him? And not only that, his agents and security were there to actually witness you throwing the bottle at him. And then after you witness the fact that you've been caught, you want to cry wolf.
Yeah.
You know, I am so pro female. I am so pro equal rights and whatnot, but don't abuse it.
Yeah, because I think this has been a 2-year battle at this point between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, where
Correct.
When the first allegations surfaced where Amber Heard was accusing Johnny Depp of physical abuse and domestic violence, like there was a lot of basically people just saying, like, we got to believe the victim, which I'm a part of those people who like, you got to believe the victim. You got to hear what the victim is saying and not take it as if it's a joke. But then as the story was developing, there were a lot of inconsistencies with the things that she was saying as far as like having proof or giving dates and saying how things escalated to the points of her getting the damages that she had on her, so on and so forth. And then as the trial and everything went through, it came to the point where they understood that she was lying. But then on top of the fact that she was lying, now with Johnny Depp suing her for defamation because his career took a complete dive.
Absolutely.
And it came to be understood that she essentially did this to A, ruin him, and B, push her career forward. And now we're getting all these things, like the medical records and everything that came out from the previous trial, where you're seeing all the damage that was actually done to Johnny Depp, like the finger situation, where I saw the picture. Like it was like a legit like chunk of his finger was gone. Like it looked as if she bit his finger. Like it was that bad.
But you see, that this is what I mean. Like
also there was 87 surveillance videos that they had taken from his home I'm not sure if it's different angles of same fights or if it's just 87 separate situations in which she was attacking him. But there is hours of proof of her physically abusing him and none of him doing that to her.
But you see, that's exactly what I mean. Like, this is what I mean. Like, it's a detriment to the Me Too movement. You can't actually take a movement and take it for your own benefit. That destroys the actual movement. If you look at what happened to Chris Brown when he was in France. Actually, when he wasn't in France, when that model said that she raped him. And luckily, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, correction. That
slip of the tongue. It happens.
Exactly. But how do you go about that? You know what I mean? Like right now, it's at the point that no matter what ends up happening, is the man is always going to be guilty to proven innocent. If there wasn't another model that came out and said no, Chris Brown wasn't going to be at that particular event, what would happen at that point? You have been scrutinized to the ninth.
Yeah. And I feel like it's in that whole situation too.
It's the same thing with Johnny Depp right now. So what's happening now is the fact that we have proof now that she is not the victim.
No, she completely fabricated the whole situation of her being the victim.
And she destroyed this man's integrity.
Like, had people literally cutting him off. And it was, especially with the timing of this whole thing happening, like, you had people who essentially knew what was going on, who were afraid to speak because just the judgment of public opinion just coming down on you and crashing down on you. And then you had people who essentially knew them both but had no idea what was going on and picking sides. So it came down to a matter of not just ruining his career, but ruining friendships and basically
ruining his
whole
integrity
social
exactly
his social outlook, because of the accusations that she put on him that were complete lies. And it's unfortunate that the only way we know this now is because that original trial is done and this information comes out because he's suing her. If not, it definitely would have been swept under the rug if he had chosen not to pursue anything because he was just like, you know what, it's done. I'm vindicated. That's it.
Absolutely. I agree.
We probably would have just heard, like, case is closed. He's fine, and then you would still have conflict of people being like, no, he did it, but now because he actually went after her, we get this truth. And 87 videos? That's a lot. Like, and I really hope it's 87 like multiple angles. Because to think like you
But you and I both know that's
but
not
that's
going
what
to
I'm
be the
saying.
case.
It's like
so
to
if
think like that much abuse
you see how your concept is thinking is like you're hoping that
no,
it's 87
I'm always
87
the type
different
of
angles,
person,
but
like I want a silver lining that we can
Absolutely.
get something of positivity out of anything. You know?
Absolutely. But
goddamn,
if
I know the reality.
Absolutely. But if it was the reverse, would we be sitting here saying like, I hope it's just 87 angles. Oh, Johnny Depp uppercutting this bitch. You and I both know we would not be having this conversation right now.
I wouldn't want to think 87 different situations of you beating this woman
exactly.
Out there. Like, but I would hope there was angles.
And I hope to God that this is actually being tried the way it should be, because it's going to be a detriment to the Me Too movement, because the fact that now that the Me Too movement is actually full in force, and this is a personal perception, this is not a global thing, this is a personal perception where I feel that she's trying to use this to her benefit.
Yeah.
I hope she gets prosecuted to the full extent. If in fact that Johnny Depp did not do anything to her, then I hope she gets prosecuted to the full extent to make an example of what can happen.
It's a shame that you would taste, and it's similar to like the Jussie Smollett situation. Like when we spoke about it a few weeks ago, and the story broke out, and at the time it was the initial story that we knew of Jussie Smollett, not all the add-ons. It was just we heard he got jumped. It was 2 a.m. leaving a Subway restaurant. Like, that's all we knew. And
I was on record saying I knew something was up.
And we said
you and Jamali.
Yeah, we said
like, yo, something doesn't seem right.
And the one thing I said was, I hope that it's true, which is fucked up to say. I hope it's true, because if it comes out that it's a lie, what it would do to the LGBTQ community.
Correct. And
what it would do to black people as a whole, because especially black LGBTQ community people, because we know of multiple occasions where they have been attacked just for being who they are.
Correct.
And that was the one thing that we had all spoke about on here in terms of that. So when it comes to this now, and you make that exact same switch, but you just put Me Too movement, I feel that exact same way. Whereas you don't want to hear this is happening to a person, but if it's a lie, if you made up this story for personal gain, what you're doing against this movement, on top of the fact that you had all these people who were in full support of you, you deserve to get every extent of the law against you.
I was gonna say he deserved to get the real uppercut if that's the case.
Well, no, I'm not going to say the
No.
price of lying about
Okay.
domestic violence is to be
Here's my
domestically
opinion on the Jussie
beat. Like,
Smollett
come on.
situation. Okay, here's my opinion. First of all, Jussie, if you ever hear this,
Juicy is his name.
Jussie,
Juicy.
whatever the fuck his
Jussie.
name is, let me
Jussie.
make something clear.
He's not a Biggie track.
You have set back the progression of black people everywhere. You have set back the LGBT community everywhere by your selfishness.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah,
I can't argue that, man.
can't argue it.
Because for what we had to fight for the little few inches we got drop kicked in the chest to be set back a couple of feet now. That's my personal opinion.
No, I'm 100% with you on that. And
Now,
and granted, we should throw the allegedly out there because he's technically not proven guilty on these 16 felony count charges. But what I'm saying is, in the preparation of it coming out that the Chicago PD actually has hardcore, no debatable, indisputable facts that Jussie, in fact, did fabricate this whole thing, hired two people to do it, and made this story because of whatever issues he had with Empire. It's completely disgusting for the reasons I just stated. Everything that we know that happens in the LGBTQ community, where people literally go out of their way to beat and kill these people, like recently what happened in Orlando. For you to then use that fear, that hatred, and it was using race, it was using sexual orientation, and it was using politics because of the whole MAGA country bullshit that you added on top of it. You took the three biggest red flags
and
to
turn to a
throw
farce.
up there that you knew, saying these three things and using these three things, who's going to argue? And naturally, you don't want to think somebody using these three things as, this is why I was attacked and this is what they shout at me and, you know, I'm this person and this is what happened. You would hate to think that you would go against that simply because you're just like, no, I don't believe it. Like, it's a hard pill to swallow.
what I said.
Look, Jamali said it straight up, and I applaud Jamali with standing ovation. Where he said, "That don't seem right.
Oh, it's true.
You
it
got all
didn't.
this money in the world,
It
And-
didn't seem right.
you're telling me at 2:00 in the morning you were trying to get a Subway sandwich, really?
Uber fucking eats, bro.
But not even that. You got people to do that shit for you.
Yeah, you have people to do
know what I
that
mean?
for you. Why do you
But
don't do that?
Jamali called it, and to be honest, on the fly, even after texting my mom was like, "Oh, did you hear what happened?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Mom,
Yeah.
something doesn't seem right." And the only
When I
reason,
heard 2 a.m. at Subway, I was
the
like,
only reason why that I actually had to digress and actually be like, something doesn't seem right, is because the way Jamali broke it down.
It was even simple. It was more simpler than that. I'm like, really? People say this is MAGA country in Chicago? Really? Like,
well, for me,
Chicago?
this is in Chicago?
what
Who
made
gives
it
a
feel
Niggas are
fishy?
us?
I'm
Really?
saying, like, really? Come on.
But no, what made it feel fishy for me is like, yeah, one, it's Chicago, but the night it happened, it was like minus 40 outside.
But it wasn't only that. It was the initial story that came out.
Yeah. Oh, that's true because
The
it was the
initial
first
story
police report.
when he went to the
then
gay,
the second police
when he
report
went to the
as
gay
well.
club,
Yeah.
where he was hitting on a guy.
And that broke on Reddit.
Exactly. So when that story came out, hearing Jamali, then hearing that story, I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
is not gonna go well.
Because I mentioned that when he was saying like, it doesn't seem right. I was like, yeah, because hearing this shit, and people on Reddit were saying no, like he was at the club, etc. And on top of the fact it's minus 40 out at 2 a.m., nobody's on the streets of Chicago at this fucking time. Like it's minus.
It's
Dude,
too,
when
look,
it's a
it's too cold
minus
to be gangbanging
15
outside.
here.
Too cold to be
We're
gangbanging.
three black brothers
In Montreal,
living in Quebec.
minus
we
15. Like, and granted, it was minus 40 Fahrenheit, minus 40, I believe, is
thing.
that.
We've
Yeah,
hit
it's
minus
the same thing
40
in Celsius.
Celsius.
Minus 40 Celsius and minus 40 Fahrenheit, I believe, is the same thing. It
The
aligns.
same thing when it gets that
It's,
cold.
it's,
It's
it
very
aligns.
close. It's very
Yeah.
similar. But you and I both know, three black guys in the same room having this conversation right now. If I make a couple $1 million a year, I am calling the first person to actually go to get
Dude,
my food for
I'm
me.
not calling a
going outside.
person.
So
There are apps.
there's a lot.
Okay?
Apps. Yo,
Foodora.
you got people in the next
Uber
room.
Eats. I don't need them.
You got
Uber
people-
Eats.
you got people in the next room.
Hello.
You have
Bottom
people
line.
for that. Once you
I'm
have that
here.
money, you have people to do that.
No, but what I'm saying is, even if he didn't have anybody around him, there are apps for that.
He's lying.
Okay?
You know what I say for
There
people
are
who lie?
apps for
Look,
that.
You know, people.
Bottom line. Bottom
ahead.
line. You've set the LGBTQ community 10 feet back. You set the black community
No,
10
and
feet back.
the one thing about that too is, I hate to, even though I've said it, I hate to think that he did that. We got to judge him individually. And I know we do. Will they? No.
Okay.
They
Look,
won't.
Look, I'm going to explain
But
something.
we do.
I'm going to explain something to you, okay? Us as a group, we can justify him as an individual.
Because we're smart enough to do so.
We're smart enough to do so, exactly. But if this was, and I'm sorry, I'm going to call it out. If there was a white individual doing this situation, we wouldn't be here talking about this.
Well, yes. You remember those people who were making the false calls on the phone for the dude who's barbecuing in the park, where he had a propane thing instead of a charcoal thing,
Yeah.
and all those white people calling on black people, like the little girl who sent the lemonade, and the white woman calling the
Absolutely.
police.
Correct.
That's kind of it's the same thing. False claims and false accusations. They all, including Juicy, should be put into population.
Absolutely.
Put them in population. I've always said that anyone who does something stupid,
He
to
definitely
make anyone
deserves a
look
charge.
stupid,
You know,
put
I
them
don't
in
think
population.
he
16
doesn't.
counts.
Okay,
though?
look. He absolutely deserves a charge.
I don't think 16.
Hold on a
felonies,
second. What the 16 counts are, we don't know.
though. Yeah, they haven't
Okay,
told us yet.
that's what we don't know. But if that is the case, me personally, I think he should be tried by a black judge.
He's going away. For
And
a
you
long
know why
time.
I'm saying this, right? You know exactly. Give him a white jury, give him a black judge, and we'll see how it turns out. If his ass gets thrown into jail for 16 to 20 years, so be it. But while we're having this exact conversation, and the person who actually screwed over all of the U.S. gets less than 5 years in jail and gets an additional 47 months,
Yeah,
go scot-free?
how it is, man.
Pardon my French, but fuck that shit.
Right.
America's a fucked up place, bro.
Put them
Absolutely.
Put them in population. So is it
Like-
anyone who does any capital crime? Or
Look,
any
I think
crime
for
to
something
benefit
like
people, put them in
this,
population. That's what you
At
got to do.
most, literally at most, 3 years.
Nah,
You know, no, I agree with him. 3 years max.
3 years.
3 years. If you're telling me
You think it
one of the
deserves
guys
10?
who are working right next to the president of the United States
How does he deserve
screw
10 for
over
lying?
over hundreds of millions of dollars
I'm not saying
gets less than 6 years?
I'm not saying I agree with
Yeah.
that.
This guy lies to try and boost his career, and he gets like 25
No.
years.
I'm not
That's
saying
a 3. That's, you know what? You're an idiot. You're going to
Wait,
go in for 3. You
again-
can get out in 1.
again, like I keep telling
You know,
Like,
again,
you're
like
an
a-
you're gonna get
idiot.
out of one. You're gonna work at Burger
But
King. You're
You
never
look
gonna
like
get a job
a
ever
loser
again.
to everyone right now,
But
so
you have
your
to
career is
understand-
already
You have
fucked.
to understand something. This is what I keep telling everyone. Everyone doesn't understand this when I'm being really serious. This is happened in Chicago.
Besides
It's
the
a
point.
lawyer state. You can, if you get the best lawyer or prosecutor, they could put you away for a long time. It's not like New York or Washington. I know it sounds bad, but that's what it is.
No, we get
it's a
that.
lawyer state.
We
That's
get
why
that.
they gave him the 16.
But what
That's
we're
why they
saying
gave him
is,
16.
like, we get that. We completely understand it. What we're saying is, based on what he's done, that's literally 3 years. That's how we
Max.
feel about it. We're not arguing what the state of Chicago law is.
I'm not.
We're just
yeah,
saying what we think what he did was stupid, and he fucked himself up.
My thing
and
is-
at most, he should get 3 years.
My thing is, if you're gonna do something so stupid like that, you deserve whatever time you get. I'm not saying you deserve
Absolutely.
life. I'm not saying you deserve life. But if you get charged on 16 counts, you put yourself in that
No,
situation
look,
to get
I
this.
highly
look,
doubt he's going to get
let,
charged
let,
on all
let me
16.
debate that. Let me debate that for you. If you're telling me the governor general who worked next to the president of the United States gets less than 10 years for what he did.
No, it's
versus-
not right. It's not right.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Less than 10 years for what he did for screwing over all of America versus one guy who felt like he was compelled to say, I'm not getting paid enough for the job that I'm doing. I'm going to lie, have my own pay for somebody to break my own ribs, lie on candid camera, and get almost life in prison. That for me is not called due process.
It's not due process. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're right. But my thing is always don't ever don't put yourself in a situation where you need to get prosecuted or end up in this bullshit in the first place. That's my main thing. Because
agreed.
He already knows he's already at two disadvantage. He's black and he's gay. So that's two disadvantage already.
So he has to fuck up two communities?
Why? Huh?
So he has to fuck up two communities, right?
That was his choice.
Two communities who are trying to make it in the hardest continent in the world.
I still feel very comfortable in my skin as a black man.
No. I'm not saying as a black. But you're telling me, okay, yes, he's black. It's hard enough being black. It's hard enough being gay. So because you have two strikes on you, you have to fuck up everything for both communities? Yo, if I saw Jussie walking down the street, I'd rock him in his fucking throat.
I think he fucked up more stuff for the gay community.
I beg to differ.
Because he said he said I'm the gay
Johnny Cochran is not here for him. Johnny Cochran is not here for him.
When he said he's the gay Tupac, I'm like,
he's what?
When he said I'm the gay Tupac, that's what he said. I was like,
because like a lot of people are gonna look at him, and outside of the fact, the first thing you notice about him is he's a black man.
For sure.
But
there's gonna be people who have no clue.
I beg to differ on that, because here's the thing. If you look at I'm gonna like separate everything in subject topics, because if you look at Jussie, the first thing you see him, you don't see him as a black man, you see him as a black gay man. That's the first thing you see. Okay?
How though?
Why? Because if you look at the rest of for example, the rest of the cast of Empire, there's nobody else who's gay, right? Am I wrong?
No, I honestly I don't watch Empire, so
okay. I watched Empire up to like the third season, and then I got too goddamn busy. So if you look at it from that aspect, you don't look at Jussie as a black man. You look at him as a black gay man.
But that's for people who know Empire.
But that's the thing, he's known. That's a problem.
You understand? But
hold on. I'm getting there. This man is touring. He's doing concerts. He's doing shows. He's being booked on 2 a.m. He's being booked on breakfast. He's doing all these shows and he's getting paid. But because he doesn't feel that he's being paid enough for what he does, makes him go out and not only destroy the credibility of not only destroy the credibility of the Black America, but also destroy the LGBT community in the same time is what destroys everything as a whole. Because two minorities that are actually working their best to become equals in a country where they've actually had to fight decades over, he's set them back.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like the best way I can look at this, you remember when we used to watch Dave Chappelle and we had the racial draft?
Yeah.
Yo, I guarantee you right now,
being traded.
All these motherfuckers are trading up Jussie in a heartbeat.
No, of course. No, I get what you're saying, but the reason I say before they look at him as a gay black man, they look at him as a black man is because when you see him, wait, but what I'm saying is when you see him, what do you see? You see a black man. And when a lot of the articles that covered him, there were a few that never mentioned his sexual orientation whatsoever. And it was only until that story came out of him being at the gay club that a lot of articles started publishing that, he's gay and that this was a hate crime against gays. And then he made it a big thing when he made, I can't remember what show he was on or when he was on the concert stage. And he was, when he was on the concert stage and saying, I'm the gay Tupac, etc., blah, blah, blah. But to people who don't watch Empire.
You serious?
Like, to people who don't watch Empire, who don't follow him, who are literally just hearing this story from a source, they just see a black man.
Yeah, but
They see Jussie Smollett, black man, and then it's only until they actually decide to dive and do some research that they're gonna find out who he actually
you
is.
have to understand the people who are having the most outrage of this are the people who know who he is.
Of course.
So people
Yeah.
who never watch Empire are not gonna care. But people who watch Empire are the ones that are having the most outrage out of it.
Which
'cause
is
they
why
know
I say for most people they're gonna look at him as just a black man.
But they're not gonna see him just as a black man. They know who he is, so they know what character he plays.
Exactly.
No, I'm not saying the people that know him. I'm saying general public.
But the general public, I'm not talking about general public. The general public has nothing to do with this because the people that are outraged of what he did and everything that he's done are the people that watch Empire, the people that know him and the stardom. That's why we're saying it's the gay population and the black population that are more affected because they know who he is and they know his actions have set this group back. And that's why a lot of people like this is why I always say with put them in population. Don't put yourself in a situation like this because now you got what's coming to you right now. Whatever it is, 16 counts, 5 counts, how many years you spend in jail, you could avoid all of that shit with 0 time in jail. Now you have potentially life in jail. I have no sympathy for you because you put yourself in that situation.
They just called his manager,
okay.
man.
With you saying that, here's the problem that I have. He deserves jail time. He deserves to pay for what he did. He deserves to acknowledge the fact of the detriment that he's done to the communities that he belongs to. But I refuse to allow him to do more time for a self-inflicted action.
Yeah.
Versus more of a governmental action.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
And I think what you're getting to is the simple fact of the only person in this whole thing that he hurt was himself.
Absolutely.
Whereas you have people who literally go out there and have raped someone, murdered someone,
I'm not
taken
even talking about
advantage
that.
of
This
Americans,
whole
but they
Comey-
don't even get a year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the situation right now. What's the representative from Trump who got 4 years?
Paul Manafort.
Manafort.
Yeah.
Manafort. Before that, he actually was sentenced. Everybody thought he was getting 27 to 35. This dude got
No, I knew he was
4 years. And then afterwards, after the 4 years, they came and gave him an extra 47 months. So he got less than 10 years.
But that was in one court. The other court, they gave him extra years. I think he's in jail for like 8 or 9 years.
Exactly. Like,
but the thing
let's
is,
sum up the 10 years.
There's a reason why that he's in jail for that long. He's essentially dying.
Don't
I know you're right. They should have
give a
him,
fuck.
They should give him for 20-something years. They should give him for 20-something years. But he's like deteriorating in his wheelchair. So it's like
Okay, no,
you're gonna die
hold on.
You're gonna
Hold
die
on.
regardless.
The wheelchair was proven to be a scam. It's been proven.
Oh, but they say he's like they even showed him he's like slimmer and everything, white hair, everything compared
Now-
to how he keeps himself.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna get my ass kicked walking out of here by both y'all dudes. Well, let me make something clear to you.
What am I gonna
Bill Cosby is going blind, is diabetic.
Yeah, fuck Cosby.
And-
I don't care.
Oh,
About him.
no, understandable. I'm not saying what Bill Cosby did was good, but they put him away for how many years?
I don't even remember.
Exactly.
10
I just know
years?
he gone.
No. He's done for.
He gone for a
15
long
plus.
time. He
Yeah,
gone.
fuck
He's
Cosby.
gone for a long time.
But fuck Cosby. I don't care about him.
No. But I want you to understand what I'm saying. This man
Yeah, I
is
get what you're
perfectly okay. He's in a wheelchair,
Bye bye.
which is actually proven that he's not prone to a wheelchair. He's actually just he needs to have a rest every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, where Bill Cosby actually needs to be seen by a doctor consecutively, he's actually deteriorating. Where Manafort is not.
Do you know how old he is though?
It's beside the motherfucking point.
Wait, I'm not,
It's besides the motherfucking point.
I'm pretty sure
If
he's,
Jesse Jackson right now did the same crime, are you telling me they'd give him 8 years?
Jesse Jackson, if he did the same crime as Paul Manafort in Washington, yeah.
Beg to differ.
It's Washington. This is what I'm telling you. It's not the same
You
in
agree with
different
me?
states. It's not the same
me
in
all
different
have it.
states. It's not the same.
Look,
It's
But the
unfortunate.
thing is, this is not about being in
unfortunate.
different states. This is not has nothing to do with being in different states. This
It's
is
morality.
a legislative situation that's amongst the entire country.
Yes, I get it.
So how are you telling me that somebody who does something as bad as Manafort, who's being trialed by the country of North America, has less time than somebody who does an idiocy in motherfucking Chicago?
Okay, federal laws. Everyone should know this. Federal laws are less harsher because essentially what Paul Manafort did, he defrauded the government. The states, what Jesse did, especially locally in Chicago, he kind of could say frauded the state. State laws are harsher. That's why Paul Manafort got a longer sentence than what he did at the federal level. That's the only reason. And it's unfortunate. I know Paul Manafort deserved 20-something years in jail. He should have got it. But that's how it is. And it sucks that's how it is. It really does. But my thing is, even for Paul Manafort, even for Jesse fucking Cosby, forget him, we don't care. You put yourself in that situation. You shouldn't be in that situation. Whatever happened to you, I'm sorry, especially for Jesse. It's a self-inflicted wound. It's a deep wound, though.
It's a self-inflicted wound.
It's
Correct.
a deep wound.
It's a self-inflicted wound. What you're saying is correct. Self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Now, what is worse?
Hurting other people.
A self-inflicted wound
Mhm.
or a wound that affects the entire country?
It's the entire country, but that's how the laws are made.
Okay, there's no buts. It's either or.
But there is
It's-
buts. It's the law.
No, there is no buts.
You have two sets of laws that are different. They're completely different. Federal and state law. They're two different laws.
Okay, so in that case, why is Manafort not tried on state law?
The second one he was, not the first one.
He was not.
Yeah,
No, he was
the
not.
first conviction where he got only the least amount of years, that was federal. The second one was state.
So the extra 47 months he got was state.
No, he didn't have extra 47 months. The 47 months was federal. The 4 years was states.
No. The 47 months
Was
that he
federal.
got.
It's federal. The state one he got the 4 years. Yeah.
The first time he was convicted was not the 47 months.
Yeah, because I guarantee you. Trust me, I know
check
politics
it?
inside and out.
Huh?
You fact check that?
I know.
I was not
I know
fact
politics
checking,
inside out.
sorry.
Trust me, I'm telling you. 48. The 47 months was the federal one. The state one was what he got just now.
Not fact checking at all.
All I'm
I
saying
was
is
letting you guys go at it.
no. All I'm saying is that people like Manafort, like Alan, you're right. He should be in jail for the rest of his life. There's no reason for him to be out.
Right
And for
now,
Jesse-
the way it seems, he spent the next 7.5 years in jail. How are you telling me somebody who corrupted and robbed the entire country gets 7.5 years?
Yeah, and Jesse gets like potentially a lot.
But
Yeah,
Jesse, who uppercutted his own career and beat himself down, gets more than that.
it sucks. I know, it sucks, but that's fortunately how they roll over there in the States. I wouldn't say I'm a law expert in how they work over there, but like I said, to avoid all that situation, he should never put
He
yourself
shouldn't
in,
have.
never put yourself in that situation.
I agree that he should be dealt with to the fullest extent, but the fullest extent should not be more than the person who screwed over the entire country.
It sucks. I know. We'll move on from this one. We'll do one last topic. Yeah. What last topic you want to talk about?
We got the recruitment scandal or YBN Almighty J.
I don't know any of these people.
Me neither.
I know the recruitment thing with the school though. I don't want to talk about these rappers who sell plastic.
He doesn't sell plastic. He got jumped.
But who is he?
We're gonna talk about it.
YBLB.
No, I don't talk about this dude.
Sounds like we're talking about it.
All right.
YBN Almighty J. He's actually a LA rapper. He's in connection with Jay Prince, so he's part of Rap A Lot Records. he was recently in New York, where these kids nowadays, they get on Instagram Live, they talk about their jewelry, and they clout chase, as the kids like to call it. And he literally got jumped. I can't remember what street he got jumped on, but essentially it was a bunch of
Saks Fifth Avenue.
There you go. Thanks for doing the fact checking there. He's great behind the boards, right? Yeah, so he got jumped on Saks and Fifth, and I saw the video. It was fucked up because it's like you just see like a bunch of literally like fucking kids, it seems like, jumping him. They steal his chain, take his like shoes and shit, and one of the people literally gives him a good old fashioned $150.
All right. My opinion on this.
There's more.
I'll let you finish.
So he gets, for the people who don't know, a $150 is basically getting your face cut with a blade, box cutter, knife, whatever you got on you. So that whole shit happens, and Jay Prince, who's pretty well known in the hip hop community from Houston, has done a lot of good things for some prominent artists, some being Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the list goes on. He went to Instagram to essentially address the situation, saying, like, at this point in hip hop, we're trying to go above and beyond this type of violence between artists and people from the streets, and whoever can get my guy's stuff back, because I've invested in him. Like, we would like you to just give it back to him. We put the shit behind us. We move on from there. What do you want to interject?
First of all, from what it seems, is as if Jay Prince had himself involved in some beef prior to the whole situation.
I don't think Jay Prince was involved.
Dude,
it's so
I did my research before
I did
coming.
too, which is why, like, I know a lot of people were saying that, like, there's possibly an OG that
apparently the day before
motion.
or even hours before there was some beef that happened.
Yeah.
So this dude ended up having to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
There is that, but there's also YBN Almighty J was in a video prior to this. I think it was a day or two before, where he was like, yeah, I'm being in New York, I don't gotta check in. And basically he was flexing. Like, he was on Instagram Live flexing like all these fucking people do these days.
But then he got what he deserved. I'm sorry.
It's
like,
so, I don't even want to go that, because like I feel like maybe it's like the older, more.
Stop caping for stupid dudes, dog.
I'm not caping.
Look,
Of course,
I'm
he
not-
deserved to get his ass whooped.
I'm not caping because I don't like to see that shit. Like, we had this conversation with
no, but look,
with
as
with
older
6ix9ine,
dudes, we don't
right?
like to see. We don't like to see this shit.
No,
we're
we
older
don't.
dudes. We don't. Point taken.
Ass whooping is one thing. The $150.
No, look. Let me make something clear to you. Okay.
Did you?
None
see
of y'all
it?
got kids.
Yeah.
None of y'all got kids. Okay.
No.
When you got kids,
Thank God.
the first thing you want to think about when a situation like this happens is like, how do you prevent this from happening to your kid? I got a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, right? And my 12-year-old, she good. My 14-year-old, she should have swayed in the same direction as these wild-ass cats. You know what I'm saying?
The older one.
So, the only thing you can do is trying to make sense of the whole situation. So I understand what you're saying when you're like, I don't like seeing this shit.
No, it's not even not like seeing it. I'm just not gonna cast simple blame, because I feel like everybody is responsible in this. He's responsible because of him trying to flex and clout chase and basically saying, "I gotta check in." You were dumb for doing that.
But not only that,
because we know G code.
But absolutely. But not only with the G code, with the whole situation at hand, he was flexing hard, but not knowing the boy that he had beef with the people he was with.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So this whole situation would have never happened if the boy that he was with didn't have any beef with nobody.
Yeah.
We agree?
But no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I just look at it as what this is going to build towards, especially with like what we know, what we as older people who follow hip hop know, like the stories behind the music, to put it that way. We know who J Prince is. We know what his reach is. I found it weird that he went to Instagram with this because that's not really his thing. He's a phone call guy.
Mm-hmm.
So because he didn't go to the phones, I'm questioning the connection that these kids that jumped Almighty J have with any of the OGs.
Here's the problem that I have. Okay. Me personally, I'm sick and tired of seeing the rap industry or the quote unquote urban industry being used as a meteor. I'm not saying media, I mean meteor as a violent, digressive vision for black people. That's my opinion. Okay? So, while we were off camera before, we were talking about how Jay-Z helped this person, Puffy helped this person out, and how XYZ helped people out. That being said, we need to teach our youth now to stay off of social media and stop flaunting what they don't have.
Good luck with that.
Exactly. Trust me, I got a 14-year-old. Trust me, I want to punch her
that.
in the motherfucking throat. I'm the first one
you
to say
say that now as like the adult who can look at what social media is, but do you remember how you were on MSN?
Honestly,
Like,
I'm not gonna front.
Answer that honestly.
I'm gonna
do you remember how you were on MSN?
I remember how I was on MSN. And the funny thing about it is, just 3 weeks ago, I had a conversation with somebody, and I said, like,
we weren't much different.
I was the last generation where we could do stupid shit, and no one will ever know about it.
Yeah, because back then, our cell phones didn't record and take pictures the way it do. But what I'm saying is, like, what our way where we communicated and flexed was in a position of you literally had to be at home. You weren't out in public. You were at home on your computer. Laptops weren't what they were now.
But that's
like online flexing. Dude, you had your when they finally gave us pictures. Like before it was our flex was the status.
Right.
You put up like whatever status, whether it was AOL, Black Planet was a bit later, but AOL MSN. You had your status, and you remember
MySpace
when they actually gave us 140 characters of a status?
Absolutely.
And then they added a picture, and then they added webcam.
But it's not even a point of that. It's not a point.
But what I'm saying is, like, we had, and in talking about like teaching these kids about social media, we are fortunate enough to know the earliest stages of social media and be a part of the growth of social media, to see and make, like, essentially we were the trial and error of social media, us growing up, because then you had like MySpace, Hi-Fi, Black Planet, and all these sites that came up that became like what eventually Facebook just stole all their ideas and put it into one.
Yep.
You know, like we went through that trial and error of knowing what social media was before social media was even a thing and building it to that point. So then when it became what it is now, we look at it like, oh, I know what you guys are doing. I did that shit when I was like fucking 14
exactly.
years old.
Now,
but they don't know that. They don't have our knowledge.
I just want to touch on one topic before we finish up tonight.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the news, they were talking about how Ontario is trying to
ban the cell phones.
To ban the cell phones in schools.
Elementary schools, yeah.
In elementary?
Elementary and
high school.
And high schools, I think.
I can agree with elementary. I don't see how you could do it for high school.
Unless the teacher says that it's for recreational use.
Yeah.
Or for project
the
use.
Reason why I mean, this is like the far extreme of it that I'm going to say. The reason I can't see the The reason why I can't see justification for banning cell phones is safety. I know it's a distraction, but the one thing that we know, especially in this day and age, is once you hand your kid off, you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well, this is a different conversation. This is really deep. What I'm going to say. Why is a cell phone a distraction?
If kids are sitting on their phone when they should be learning, that's a distraction.
But what are they learning?
I mean, is it math class? Is it geometry? Like I can't say what they're. I'm saying like if you're sitting in a class where you should be paying attention to a teacher, maybe reading your textbook, but you're on your phone on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter.
What are they reading and what should they learn?
I don't know their curriculum, Jason.
Do you really want to go with this with me?
Listen to this.
He can tell you better than I don't know their curriculum. What I'm saying
I can go in onto this easily.
Listen what I'm saying here. This is important because this is the same thing that I hear when they overdiagnose kids, saying that they have ADHD. All that kind of stuff.
First of all,
it has nothing to do.
First of all, in Quebec, we are the province in Canada that over
medicates for ADHD.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But this is what 100%. This is what I want to say though in regards to that, because these kids, it's not to say that they're on their phone doing social media. It's they're bored, and this is what they have to understand about technology. Even in our times, you see sometimes people just like, oh, they're doing other shit, drawing in class because it's boring. The schooling of this.
I'm gonna call a timeout.
But listen, the schooling of this age teaches you how to be a warehouse worker. It's assembly line learning. That's what it is. It teaches you how to be on an assembly line. Now, the with technology, the iPhones, flat screen, everything. No.
Jason, you're expecting a child who is what? Let's say if they're high school, and by high school I mean Montreal terms of high school, which bridges between 13 to 17 years old, to literally sit down and have the mental capacity to search on their phone and research what they want to learn. Whereas when you have so many social media distractions, when kids at that age are on their phone, they're either on YouTube, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, or on Snapchat. They are not researching anything that is part of the curriculum that will help them learn.
Anything productive.
But what you don't understand is schools are not incorporating this technology to learn to their benefits.
No,
they're not
schools
using
are.
it. No, they're not.
They're not doing it fast.
They're not.
Jason's right on that.
They're not.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem.
They're not doing it fast enough. That's
the
problem.
It's not a point of them not doing it fast enough. First off, I'll be the first one to say that parents need to understand the schools are there to educate their child, not to raise their child.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you on that.
That's one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Two. As a father of two, I do not condone cell phones in the classroom. Period. If you need a laptop, you need a laptop. You do not need a cell phone in the classroom.
I could get YouTube on my lap.
But here, I'll explain to you the difference.
Yeah, I know the difference.
I'll explain the difference. The difference is this. With the laptop, when you log into the network at the school, you can block off certain networks.
Correct.
Yeah.
With a cell phone,
you know how you get
all the person has to do is take off Wi-Fi, and I have access to whatever I want.
And then
you know the way to get around that?
And then you, as a parent who's paying the bills of your kid, you're like, what the hell is this bill for? Why are you looking on this for? Why are you looking?
Okay, hold on.
That's when you can ask those questions.
As a responsible parent as I am,
you'll ask those questions.
Hold on. As a responsible parent as I am, trust me.
The only thing that show up on a bill these days are things you actually pay for.
And I'm going to stay at the defense of the teachers today, because back in the day, if your ass acted up in school, when your mother or your father went to your parent-teacher interview, you're like,
The good old days.
By the time your ass got into the car, you had to lie across the back seat, because by the time you got from the door from the school to the car, your ass would be too red to sit on it. Am I wrong?
Hey, I was a good student.
Well, I don't know, because
but in this day and age, I can tell you, I have friends of mine who are teachers.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine who actually, my daughter's mother works in the school board. And the things she's telling me, it's just, beyond me, where the mothers and the fathers will come to the school, and because the fact that they didn't study, or because the fact they didn't actually pass a test, they blame the teacher.
Oh,
instead of blaming the student.
They've been blaming
or
the
blaming
teachers
themselves
since we were
for
kids,
not helping.
But those are irresponsible parents.
Yeah.
Those
Absolutely.
Are irresponsible parents.
But
yeah.
in the how can I explain it now?
What do you mean in this
in
age?
the era that we're in right now,
Hmm.
it's as if it's never the person who is at fault is at fault.
It's passing the buck.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a responsibility.
It's
thing
easier to
within
point
parents.
the finger than take responsibility.
I think
But
that's,
that's something we have to correct.
I think
Oh,
that's
I agree
more,
with you.
I think that's more of a parent thing.
I see it a lot.
And
Because look,
responsibilities.
you have your daughters, I have my nieces, and there's been situations at the school where, like, one of my nieces I've spoken on here before, like she's on the spectrum, and there's been situations where I've talked to my sister where she's telling me what's going on at the school, and I've literally looked at her like, do I need to go there? Because she demands special care. But if the people that are there to help educate her, but at not the very least give her that special care, are going to actually do their job as like a guardian, I'm like, no, what the fuck is your problem? I'm going to step in, and it's not going to be a matter of me looking down on you being like you're not doing your job, and more of a matter of understanding like you have somebody here that you need to work with in a specific way, and that's why we brought her here. But on top of that, if she's just not doing what she's supposed to do, and she's being a nuisance, and she's being somebody who's just going out of her way to be an irritant, I wouldn't then look at them and say, you know what, well, you should control her. That's why we brought her here. Like, that's a moment where it's like, all right, if this is what she's doing, thank you for bringing it to me. We are going to address it.
Again, that's responsible parents and
Yeah.
responsible
Exactly.
That's
But-
responsibility.
And that's like
Reiterating what we're
3% of the
talking about.
population.
It
You know what I
is.
mean?
Which is ridiculous, but it's reiterating what you're
But
talking
in
about.
2019, it's like 3 to 10% of the population.
Yeah.
If you
More
look at
parents
back
need
in
to
the
be
90s,
that way.
that was 90% of the population.
Like,
you see the difference right now?
no, and I agree with you because it's like I know my sister goes to the parent teacher conferences and she makes sure like just going according to plan because you got to make sure your girls are doing well. And I mean, I want to see my girls do like my nieces do well. So I know she's on top of her game, but I mean, I would have to ask her to find out how many other parents that she actually sees there. But I know this particular elementary that they go to, it's more of like a hands-on, like the parents that bring their kids there, they make sure their kids are doing their shit.
I do my best.
Yeah.
To be at every parent teacher.
But I mean,
Unfortunately,
there are
with my
situations
job-
where kids' parents just don't show up because they don't give a fuck, which is ridiculous.
But here's the thing is, in my particular circumstance, I grilled my daughter to the 9th because the fact that because of my job of how hard I work, I can't always be there.
Yeah.
But at least I communicate with the teachers regularly where they know that if there's something going on, they can contact me. They know
Yeah.
I'll respond right away.
Exactly.
But there's not enough parents out there doing that. They need to support the people who are there for them to help their children grow instead of actually expecting them to be like, okay, I gotta go to work. Here's my kid. You raise them. I'll feed them when they get the fuck home.
Yeah, that's just bad parents, though. That's just bad parents.
It is.
But it's happening more frequently than others, and it has to stop.
That's not the kids' thing. That's more the parents that need to like.
But
get
it
on them like
reflects
that.
on the kids. I get what you're saying, where it's more the parents, but at the end of the day, the teachers in the schools need to push back and say, listen, we have our job to teach our children, but we are not here to raise your children.
You know why they don't push back? I can tell you exactly why. They're younger. Much younger. When we were in school, how old was our teacher? 40, 50, 60.
No, I had some young teachers. I don't know about you.
Now, but nowadays they're all our age. They're in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Most
Our
of the
age
teachers.
is 30s.
20s, 30s, 40s. That's what I'm talking about. Age range. There's no one's
Actually, my daughter's teacher.
Well, like I said, like I had a lot of young teachers.
like right now, my daughter's
Like
teacher
20s,
graduated high school
30s.
with me.
graduate high school with you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, they're young though.
Like
That's why they're
I had
afraid
like
to
a
push back.
few.
That's not a problem.
students-
Actually, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
In certain
the
aspects, yes.
No. I
Relatability
believe
is
that's
a
a very good
big
thing.
thing.
And the reason why it's a good thing is because it can relate to today's reality.
I understand what you're saying. Relatability is one thing, but I think how children see it, they see, because they're younger, they see relatability as being friend. It's not the same.
No,
That's what
I
kids
beg to-
see. I think that's
No.
what kids see.
Hold on.
You can be relatable
Hold on.
while still-
Let me get to this. Let me get this one. Oh shit! You
We
touched
gotta-
a fucking nerve.
Hit it quick.
Okay, here's the problem. It's not the teachers who are trying to befriend the child. It's the parent who's trying to befriend the child. My child knows.
That's irresponsibility too. That's
No. Let me finish. My child knows if you come home and you try to fuck with me, I will discipline your ass.
But you're not, exactly. You're a responsible parent. You're not their friend. You're their parent.
Exactly. So having a young teacher should not reflect on how they're being educated.
But you have to understand, young teachers, they're not seasoned, and it's not an excuse, but that's what it is.
Wrong again.
No, I don't agree.
not
with
seasoned.
that.
Wrong again. It has nothing to do with being
I don't agree
seasoned.
Because
with
what I've
that.
noticed, we've had young teachers in school too. The younger ones let a lot of things slide because they think
No.
they can handle it.
No, you're wrong.
I find
You're
it's
wrong.
more the opposite.
You're wrong. The young teachers are scared, and once they find that the parents will back them up, they'll be firm.
Yeah.
And
I
the
don't know
problem
about
with
that.
today's society is the fact that the parents will not back the teachers. They will back their children more, even though their child is wrong.
Like I look at it like just remembering from my particularly high school, I had a lot of young teachers in high school, and usually they were the stricter ones compared to the older ones. Like the older ones, literally, like if we were mouthing off and doing whatever, they would just look at us like, I learned this shit already, so I don't care. So if you don't want to learn it, you're just gonna fail, and then you're gonna have to repeat the year. And they would just sit down and let us do whatever the fuck. Whereas the younger ones, if we were mouthing off and not paying attention, where we were getting hit with detentions, we would get suspended, we would have extra work to do. Like they were piling it on us, just because they were younger and they knew it's like, no, I'm gonna make sure you learn this shit, and if you think you're above it, I'm going to stress it even harder. And just going from what I remember with my high school tenure, it was always the younger ones that we were cool with, but if you fucked with them, you got hit so much harder.
It
than
was
with
the
older ones.
complete
Because the
opposite.
older ones, they were at a point where they're like, well, I'm retiring soon. I don't give a fuck.
Me was a
If
complete,
they were like, if you fail, you fail. Who cares?
in our high school,
They
it was
did
completely
not give a
different.
fuck.
Like the younger teachers used to do after school activities with us, like play hockey and all that shit.
Like
The
I
older
kind of
ones
look
were
at
the
it the
assholes.
same way I look at it with nurses at the hospital. You can always tell, like, the young nurses come in, they're enthusiastic, they're very much with this mentality of, I'm here to help these patients, I'm going to do well, and there's an energy about them that's infectious, but it's not the reality of the hospital. Because you see the older nurses, they come in, you're my patient, this is what you need, this is what we're going to do. If you refuse it, fine, that's your right. I walk away from you. I'm not even going to fight you.
Yeah, but that's terrible bedside manner, and they become jaded.
But that's what I'm saying.
So that
It's
makes the older
something
ones
you
worse.
notice where the young ones always have that enthusiasm. They'll go the extra mile to
Okay,
make
but
sure
you
it
have to
happens.
understand though.
Whereas the older ones have a laxity about them.
No.
And it's the same way with teachers.
Finish up, because we're going along to finish up, Alan.
Okay, hold on. I gotta
No, 'cause
finish
I
this
gotta
up
pee.
Go ahead.
because 5 minutes. Okay. Has anybody ever asked the question why?
Why what?
If you look back when we were growing up, when you tried to make a difference, it made a difference. In this day and age, when you try to make a difference, you're foreseen. You're looked past, you do not exist. You're working for yourself and you don't actually get any retribution to the extra work you put. Have you not noticed that?
No, I've noticed it, and I think the reason for that is because there's so many examples of people doing the exact same thing. that when you see another person doing exactly that, you just don't. You're essentially like you're numb to it. Like you remember, like for us growing up, we would have access to our community. It was what was around us, the people we knew. It was always the same faces every day. So whoever was the cool kid was the cool kid, the nerd was the nerd, loser was the loser, et cetera, et cetera. And like these were your purviews. Like these were the people that were your scope of how your design was going to fall depending on what you latched onto. Whereas now, you can be the loser, but still have the biggest community that doesn't make you feel like the loser. You could be the jock and have the biggest community outside of your immediate community that supports that. So no matter what direction anybody takes, you have somebody who's going to confirm whatever your biases are right here with you and beyond. That's essentially what society has become at this point because of social media and because of our connection to damn near everything, to bring it back full circle. Like that's what's around us right now, which is why you see a lot of kids who, like, you try to show them a certain way, but they latch on to whatever is on their phones. Like they latch on to like a YouTube star, they latch on to like a certain Instagram personality. It's just like there's something about seeing it and seeing the effects of it, or like the falsity effects of it, because we know better, but they see that and they're like, that's the strive, that's the road.
To a certain extent, you're right, but as a parent, as an adult who is raising a child, it's actually been proven now that having a screen in front of your face for 30 minutes or more in the morning before going to school hinders the reproductive.
It's the worst thing in the world.
It's the worst thing in the world.
It's the worst thing in the world.
But if you noticed that kids who are in daycare, kids who are going through pre-kindergarten, on the way to school, what's the first thing they have? They have a screen in their face.
Not my niece.
Well, no, your niece, but
she does. I'm gonna talk to my sister.
The greatest, but the greatest majority, that's what it is.
Yeah, a majority it is.
So, as a parent of my own kids, like I try my best to do the same thing and not allow them to be on the screen before they go to school, to actually be able to absorb the most education possible. But what is the percentage that you think is out there that actually do that?
Oh, less than,
because they get the peace in the morning when they have their coffee and they read the newspaper. Yeah. They put the iPad down. They do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm getting to.
No, I agree with you on that. But the way you explain it, it's simple. Like it starts at the top, right?
Exactly.
And if you're gonna make those values and you're gonna instill those habits in them, it starts at the top. Whereas if somebody doesn't start at the top with that and make sure that their kids see it that way, then we end up with essentially the same patterns that we're seeing that's happening, that we can get these scientific analysis that say 30 minutes first thing in the morning fucks you up.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
That was a great parent talk corner right there. You know, shout out to Bill Simmons. Anything left to say, or is that pretty much it?
No, Alan, what do you want to plug since you're here? What do you want to plug?
Yeah, true.
Plug
what do you got? You got any shows coming up? Do you have any businesses, any friendships you want to shout out? Like anything?
Really right now I got another shout out. Hit me up on DJ Nemesis 007 on IG. But that's right about it right now. I'm laying low until the summer right now. I got a couple plans coming up, but
you've been busy enough. We know about
it. For real.
Get your nice little 2 months break and then hit the ground running again.
Exactly.
As for us, you know how it is. It's Don't Be Mad Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. Don't Be Mad Podcast on Facebook. And Don't Be Mad Podcast on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe, share it to your friends, your family, and your pets, please. Yes, your dog listens to us, and she loves us. Or they, depending on how they identify. We are the Don't Be Mad podcast. Thank you for listening.